Let's talk about the other big mover then, Suzlon. That's clocked 50 rupees today after a while. They reported a rather good performance in quarter three. The street liked it as the margins, they did outperform, while the net volumes also surged on a sequential basis. Mr. Himanshu Mody, the CFO of Suzlon, joins us on the show. Hi, Himanshu, good morning, and thanks so much for joining in. I recall when we chatted the last time around, you said that, in the first half of the year, 35 to 40% of business is executed. In the second half of the year, you have around 60-65% that's executed. Though on the execution front, for quarter three itself, it appears more or less flattish. I think 173 megawatt. Could you tell us, quarter four will be far better, and what do you end the year with in terms of execution?
So for quarter four, certainly, I think we would be able to do RR numbers which are better than quarter three. That has been the historical trend, and we are quite likely to continue with that trend. And we maintain that, typically in H1 we do about 35 to 40% of our volumes, and about 60 to 65% comes from H2. So we maintain that.
So what do you end the year with? Quarter four has to be better than quarter three. Otherwise, there'll be a degrowth on a year-on-year basis as well. Could you tell us what do you end this year with, and how does it compare with the previous year? That's FY23, because as of now, it's still a little bit lower as of 9 months.
So again, difficult for me to give you a specific guidance. We ended last year at about 664 for the full year. As of 9 months, we are right now at 437.
Yes.
So we are on course. Obviously, I can't give specific guidance on where we will be in Q4 in terms of numbers.
But you'll be as good as last year? 664 is what you did?
Yes, we did 664 last year, so I think we should be very close, yes, definitely.
All right. Himanshu, hi, morning. Prashant here. I mean, you a series of orders since the last time that we spoke. Could you give us a overall outline? What's the total order book now, both volume and value-wise? And over what period is this order book executable, as you see it?
So our total order book is about 3.2 gigawatts now, and this has to be executed till FY26. So obviously some of it is for Q4 FY24 in the current quarter, and a large part of it is for FY25. Some of it spills over to FY26. So it's over, say, about the next 2 years is what we need to execute this order book. In terms of realization, we continue that. An average of about 6 crores per megawatt in terms of realization is where we have this order book at.
Okay, so 3.2 gigawatts order book will be executed over the next 2 years. That's the plan, got it. Are you seeing any interest from the private sector? We believe that tenders have come in from SJVN, NTPC, GAIL, etc. Can you give us an outlook on that?
So certainly, there is a lot of interest across the private sector and in the bidding segment. If you look at our current order book, roughly about 53% of the order book comes from central and state auctions, whereas 47% of our current order book comes from the C&I segment or the private sector, which is for captive consumption.
So we understand that you'll participate for more EPC orders as well. Can you clarify on that?
So we don't do pure EPC unless it's our equipment. Obviously, when we sort of supply our own equipment, it is a complete menu card that we provide to our customers. So we certainly do EPC for work for them, and the scope also could differ, but we don't do pure play EPC for third-party equipment suppliers.
You don't have any plans as well in future to do pure play EPC?
No, I don't think so. I mean, our core continues to be, manufacturing and project execution for our own equipment, and we will be continuing to focus on that.
All right, Himanshu, out of your total order book, 62% is for 3 megawatt orders plus. And that it could entail better margins. Is that correct? If yes, what is the trajectory on margins from here on?
So just a small correction, the total order book, roughly about 73-74% is for the 3 megawatt turbine, which is the S144. In terms of margin profiling, our endeavors will be to try and improve the margins on the manufacturing business. We currently, hover around the mid-teens. But as we improve our supply chain and working capital norms, I think directionally we should be able to see some improvement in margins. Whether it's a 3 megawatt machine or a 2 megawatt machine, the margin profiling doesn't change much.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I just wanted to understand a little more about what's happening in the renewable energy space. The wind energy capacity addition that we've seen has over the last 12 to 18 months lagged the solar energy addition to a large extent. What are the key challenges that wind energy is still facing? And there is some support that has come in for 1 gigawatts offshore wind capacities through viability gap funding. Will that help, help the industry meet those challenges?
So see, in terms of execution, solar versus wind, wind certainly is much more complicated in terms of execution and commissioning of every single wind turbine as compared to solar. And it has been historically the trend, probably globally, that solar in terms of sheer megawatt capacity will always be more than wind. In the last few years, we've seen as a country anywhere between 1.5 to 2 gigawatts of wind getting commissioned every year. However, in this 9-month period in FY24, we've already seen 2.1 gigawatts of wind commissioning that has already taken place. So certainly there is significant boost to the sector that's happening. There are certain challenges on ground in terms of project execution, EPC contractors availability, but all of the suppliers, companies, logistical entities are pulling up socks to ensure that the wind execution capacity increases substantially in the country. Coming to your next point, yes, the 1 gigawatt offshore VGF that was announced by the Honorable Finance Minister yesterday is a very welcome move for the sector. It may not have any short-term or medium-term immediate advantages, but it's at least heartening to see that the wind sector has made a mention again in the union budget.
Sure. So you started by saying that 3.2 gigawatt orders will be executed over the next 2 years. But besides that, what are the kind of order inflows that you expect in FY25?
So we continue to see a healthy pipeline. I mean, when we met last, I maintained that, there is a good, healthy pipeline. And as and when we convert those into orders, we report those to the street. So in addition to the 3.2 gigawatts that we already have confirmed under our belt, there is a healthy pipeline that we are negotiating and with our prospective customers and also existing customers to enhance capacities. So as and when those get executed into firm contracts, and we receive advance consideration on those, we will certainly report to the street.
All right, Himanshu, final question. I know I've asked you this before, but everything's good at the price. If the price is good enough, will the promoter entity look to sell out?
Yeah, and I've answered this before, so I don't think so. I think, the sponsors, the family, the management remains committed to our late founder's vision. Very incidentally, it is his birthday today, Mr. Tulsi Tanti. So we are all very committed to executing his vision. And I think whether it's right from the board or the promoters or the management.
Absolutely. And what a turnaround it has been, right? So congratulations to you and your team, Himanshu, as you've engineered that. And we look forward to speaking with you again. Thank you very much for joining us.